So I did it. I finally upgraded from my iPhone 15 Pro. You know, I completely skipped the 16 Pro last year because honestly, it just felt incremental. I was waiting for something that felt like a real meaningful jump. And after using this, the iPhone 17 Pro, for the last 2 days, I think this might be it. We're gonna talk about the performance, which is frankly a little bit scary. The battery, which, well, it still has 0 cycle count. The cameras, of course. But first, we need to talk about the design, because Apple made a really controversial choice here, and I have some thoughts. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, I want to touch on what makes this release feel so different. With a lot of phones, you get a slightly faster chip, a slightly better camera. But with the 17 Pro, Apple introduced 2 things for the very first time that changed the whole experience. First, a vapor chamber cooling system. Yeah, finally. And second, a battery that, for me, has created a whole new level of freedom. And those 2 things are connected in a way that's kind of brilliant. Okay, let's just get this out of the way. The iPhone 17 Pro is made of aluminum. And when you hold it next to my old 15 Pro with its titanium frame, yeah, you can feel the difference. The titanium just has this dense, premium, almost jewel-like quality to it. The aluminum, well, it feels like aluminum. And I know a lot of people are calling this a downgrade, but, and this is a huge but, Apple did something clever. It's a unibody design with these new, more rounded sides. And I gotta be honest, it is so much more comfortable to hold and use. The titanium on the 15 and 16 Pro was cool, but the edges were still a little sharp. This just melts into your hand. I think there's a reason for this change beyond just comfort though. This unibody aluminum design probably works way better with the new cooling system inside, allowing heat to spread more evenly across the whole body. So it's a trade-off. A little less of that ultra premium material feel for a huge gain in performance and ergonomics. For me, that's a trade I'm willing to make. They've also pushed the screen size up to 6.3 inches, which, you know, is the same as last year's 16 Pro. And if you follow me on this channel, you know I'm a compact phone guy. But because the bezels are basically non-existent, it doesn't feel that much bigger than my 6.1 inch 15 Pro. The rounded sides help a lot with that in-hand feel too. And just look at the silver, it's so clean, so minimalist. I've got it in a clear case and it just looks stunning. Elegant but understated. I think it's the best color they've done this year. Alright, let's talk performance because this is where things get interesting. I ran Geekbench 6 and, well, just look at these scores. A single core score of 3,822 and a multi-core of 9,848. Now, numbers are just numbers, so let's put that in perspective. My iPhone 15 Pro with the A17 Pro gets around 7,200 on a good day, so this is a massive jump. But here's the crazy part. That multi-core score of 9,848 is basically the same as an M2 iPad Pro. You know, the M2, Apple's desktop class chip that they put in iPads and MacBooks. We're talking about that level of power in a phone. It's just insane. And the reason it can do this without melting is that new vapor chamber. I'm not gonna get super technical, but basically it's a super efficient way to spread heat away from the chip. Inside this sealed chamber, a tiny bit of liquid turns to vapor. When the chip gets hot, spreads the heat all across the phone's internal structure and then turns back into a liquid to repeat the cycle. You know how phones usually get warm during the initial setup when they're working hard in the background? This thing stayed completely cool to the touch. The same thing happened running this benchmark. No noticeable heat. This isn't just a gimmick, it's what unlocks the full power of this A19 Pro chip and lets it run at these crazy speeds for longer without throttling. I haven't had a ton of time for gaming yet, but with this kind of power and this cooling, I have zero doubt this thing will run any game you throw at it. AAA titles included without breaking a sweat. Okay, the performance is insane, but for me, this is the real headline. I unboxed this phone 2 days ago. I've been using it as my main phone. Social media, emails, taking photos, all my normal stuff. And my cycle count here, as you can see, is still at 0. My iPhone 15 Pro could never... Of course, the battery health is at 100% with 0 cycles, but this is more than just a new battery. It really feels like Apple has put it all together here. The efficient chip, the advanced cooling that lets it stay efficient, and a new design to create a phone that just redefines what to expect from battery life. The camera's got a huge bump too. It's now a triple 48 megapixel system for the main ultra-wide and telephoto lenses. That's a big deal for detail, especially on the ultra-wide and for cropping in. What I really like is the new zoom setup. Instead of the 5x on the 16 Pro, they went with the 4x optical zoom here. For me, that's a much more usable daily focal length, and the quality of the hybrid zoom is fantastic. You get clean shots at 0.5x, 1x, 2x, 4x, and even a really solid 8x. And it can go all the way to 40x digital, which is a lot, but it's there if you need it. It's a huge leap in quality and flexibility from my 15 Pro. For video, you can now shoot in 4K at 120 frames per second. That's just incredible for smooth, high resolution, slow motion, a huge step up from 4K 60 on my 15 Pro. And this is really cool, and you've probably seen it go viral. The front camera can now shoot in a super wide landscape mode without you having to turn the phone. It's perfect for group selfies or video calls where you want to show more of your surroundings. I guarantee you every other phone maker is going to copy this. It's both fun and genuinely functional. So, is this phone perfect? No, of course not. There are a couple of things to consider. First, as I said, is the material. If you absolutely love that dense, weighty feel of titanium, this aluminum body might feel like a step back. And this has become a whole thing online. You've probably seen it, they're calling it scratchgate. Because this is anodized aluminum, if you get a scratch, it scrapes off that top color layer and reveals the raw silver colored aluminum underneath. This has been really noticeable on some of the more vibrant colors like the deep blue and orange models, where the contrast is super obvious. My silver one seems to fare a bit better since the color is already so close to the raw metal, any minor scuffs are way less visible, and it's not just about scratches. The phone can also dent more easily. People have reported getting dings from pretty minor drops, which is just the nature of aluminum being a softer metal than the titanium we got used to. As YouTubers like JerryRig Everything have pointed out, it's not just that aluminum is soft, but the design itself has some weak spots. The sharp 90-degree edges around the camera bump, for example, don't hold that anodized coating as well, making them prone to chipping. So yeah, it's a real consideration. You're trading some of that ruggedness for the better cooling. And second, let's talk about the price and storage. Apple finally bumped the base storage on the Pro model to 256 gigabytes, which is awesome. No more feeling cramped with 128 gigs. But that upgrade comes with a price bump. The starting price for the 17 Pro is now $1,099, which is $100 more than the entry-level 16 Pro last year that started at $1,000 for 128 gigs. So while you're getting double the storage, which is a great value proposition, the cost of entry to get a new Pro iPhone has gone up. It's just another one of those things you have to weigh when you're thinking about upgrading. So here's the bottom line. Was it worth skipping the iPhone 16 Pro and waiting for this? For me, absolutely, 100%. The debate over aluminum versus titanium is valid, but it's a subjective thing. The upgrades that aren't subjective, the desktop class performance, the 2-day battery life, the incredibly versatile camera system, they aren't just incremental steps. This feels like a huge jump forward. If you're using an iPhone 15 Pro or older and you've been waiting for that wow moment to upgrade, I think this is it. The experience is just on another level. But that's just my experience after 2 days. I'd love to know what you all think. Are you upgrading? Do you think the aluminum is a deal breaker? Let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.